Hello there lovely crafters, it's Terry from Veegstez Creates and I'm here to share with you some inspiration for the brand new Woodland Harvest Stamp Club. So this stamp and die set is absolutely jam-packed. Although it's called the Stamp Club, so you think the emphasis is on the stamps, there are so many dies that are suitable to be used on their own as well as in conjunction with the stamp set that really it's like getting two sets, because you have lots of leaves. There's one leaf here that can be cut out using a die, but the other leaves and that one can also be used on their own. And then there's things like this gorgeous sentiment which says "for you" on it, which looks like this. So it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a wreath and then the really clear letters "for you." And then it's got a really useful addition, a little fishtail banner. These are always a wonderful addition to your stash. And then extra dies that don't involve the stamp set are this gorgeous little basket, a vase, this which looks like a mushroom top. Then we've got this gorgeous, what looks like a sunflower, an acorn. So really gorgeous things. And then obviously the things that you would expect with a stamp and coordinating die set, such as this to cut out the wreath here, and then this die to cut out the wheelbarrow. We've got a die to cut out the flower, and then there's a pumpkin here with a die to cut that out. So there is just so much inspiration in this kit. It's amazing. I've made 2 cards as inspiration for you. So this is a fairly clean and simple mini slimline card that would be really good to batch make. And I've used 2 of the leaf dies that give like a skeleton leaf effect. Now I've just used them like that, but if you're cutting a bunch out, it would be wonderful to paper piece these in different colours, so like different greens and yellows, because of the changing leaves around autumn time. So this is really handy, and I thought I would make this as an example of something to batch make. I've done it as a birthday card, but if you wanted to, you could leave off that sentiment and then have a bunch of "for you" cards and then add a sub sentiment at a later date. It could be a sympathy card or a thinking of you card or a leaving card. And then the other card that I've made is a wreath card, and I've used, I mean, there's so many super cute little critters. We've got hedgehog, owl, squirrel and a fox, and during the course of the video I show you how I colour up this little beauty. There's loads of different ways you can go, loads of different directions. You could use a large card like this and create a beautiful scene. One thing I was thinking about doing was creating quite an elaborate scene and doing masking, so for example some trees and then little critters and florals and pumpkins and some cake, etc., and having like a bit of a little animal party and go nuts, it's your birthday kind of thing. So that is definitely something you could do as well. So now that we have had a look at the stamp and die set and you've got more of an idea of what we've got to play with, I'm going to launch into the tutorials. So let's dive in, shall we? Okay, so the first card that I'm going to show you how to make is a mini slimline birthday card. So this will be perfect for anybody with autumnal birthdays. So there is such a lovely array of leaf dies in this stamp club. This isn't even all of them, but it's most of them. And these 2 actually cut out these beautiful leaves where you only get the outline. So they're sort of like leaf skeletons. So if you cut them out of vellum, for example, they'd look like, you know, you can buy them like leaf skeletons and they're really, really delicate. But I cut them out in pearlescent card and a speciality card. The others were all cut from most of them were cut from this autumn maple pearlescent card, which is really handy, as was the background. I really love pearlescent card. So this lovely sentiment, which is a really nice size, I've cut out in the green leaves, and then I'm going to create a bit of a drop shadow when I stick it onto that, which will go onto there. And then there's a lovely little banner die, excellent addition to your crafty stash. I love little fishtail banners. And then I've stamped out birthday hugs, and this is in the acorn brown, which was in the most recent craft kit. So I used an A6 card blank in ivory, which is 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. So I trimmed 1/4 inch off the top and 1 1/2 off the side to turn it into a mini slimline. So it's 6 by 3 1/2. And then I've got the For You for the main sentiment. And then a sub-sentiment of birthday hugs. Because it's so general with the For You, if you don't add the sub-sentiment, then you could have that in your stash as an any occasion card and then just stamp yourself up a little sub-sentiment at a later date. And also, because of the colour scheme and it being a nature theme, it's also suitable for anybody of any age. Often people find it difficult to think of ideas for cards for the men in their lives, so this would be a perfect birthday card for a man, and really quite super quick to make as well. Basically, if you just sit down and batch cut out a load of leaves, which is what I did, then it comes together really quickly after that. I'm going to assemble that off camera. I did cut the pearlescent yellow card panel to cover the full dimensions of the card, simply because I thought that that would look really nice. I mean, it also would look nice backed onto some patterned paper. And then for the second card, I've assembled it as it will be. So this is going to be a 6-inch square card. As I mentioned, I die cut a load of leaves. So I just cut out several colours for each leaf and just die cut all of them. And then I pulled out some mustard yellow cardstock, this gorgeous leafy cardstock, and some craft cardstock. And I'm going to do some no line colouring with the beautiful little fox from the stamp set. He is so super cute. And little tip for you, if you want to do no line colouring, then French macaroon is perfect. So it's perfect if you're using it on white cardstock, and on craft it looks like this. So again, it's also perfect. So I've stamped some of the leaves, and I've stamped 4 acorns, and I'm going to use the Go Nuts, It's Your Birthday sentiment for this one. So this patterned paper is from the Harvest Moon, but then this is from the Spring Meadow, but it's still got leaves on, and because I've used some fresh mint pearlescent cardstock on some of the leaves, it works really well. So I'm going to do this on a 6-inch card blank, and obviously this is 6-inch square. I've done that to 5 3/4 and that to 5 1/2, so there's going to be no white border on there. I did think about putting it on a craft card, which would look nice also, but I just really want the feature to be the wreath. This card is all about the wreath, and obviously a cute critter, because I love colouring cute critters. And it's amazing how even with a tiny image like that, when you colour it up, you can create a beautiful little scene. I love creating big scenes, you know, doing lots of masking and having lots of detail, but I wanted to do this, A, because I wanted to create a wreath card, and B, because I wanted to show you that you can still create cards where you're doing some colouring, but it doesn't have to be loads of colouring, and just another way to use these small images. So the bit that's going to take the longest in this card is arranging all the leaves once I have coloured our little foxy friend. So a good tip when you're doing something like this is plan it all out, take a photo of it, so then when you come to the point of assembly, you've basically got a template to work from. So that is the second card. Again, I've explained how to do it and I'll assemble it off camera. Essentially, I'm going to stick down a layer of leaves all around this circle, which is just from the Tonic Basic Circles die set, which I think I've got all of them, the circles and the rectangles. They're just a staple for your stash, really. So I'm going to start off with the bigger ones around the edge, and you just need to make sure that you cover up that join, not just with this layer, but with all of the layers. Okay, so here we go, the two completed cards. So we've got our 6x6 card with the wreath and the adorable little fox, and the mini slimline card, which is 6 inches by 3.5 inches. And I think they're both super cute, and as I mentioned in the introduction, this card would be perfect for batch making, especially if you left off the sub sentiment, because you could use it for so many occasions. But if you you're like me and you've got loads of September, October birthdays, and they're people that don't know each other and won't be going to each other's houses, you could definitely just spend half an hour doing loads of die cutting of the leaves, and even if you wanted to make it a bit fancier, do some paper piecing using different paper pieced colours inside each of the leaves. It'd be nice to do that just on like maybe 3 of them, for example, three or 5, an odd number. You could also add something like glitter accents. The gold one would look really nice inside here. So again, you could pick maybe 3 and add some glitter accents. So there are more ways to zhuzh this up. You could also add different Nouveau drops around there. And then with this card, I just absolutely love this because I love wreaths of any type, but I do absolutely love autumn. It's my favourite season, so autumnal colours and autumnal wreaths are my favourite. So I was so happy to be sent this set because it gave me an excuse to use some of my nice speciality paper in small amounts, and it gave me an excuse to do some colouring, which I absolutely love to do. This little scene actually didn't take very long at all, and I showed you what it looked like when I'd stamped straight away with the French macaroon. I actually coloured this up the next morning and it had faded quite a bit, so I couldn't really see the outlines of the leaves and the acorns. So a really good tip for that when that happens is just to use the stamp set as a colouring guide. So again, I couldn't really see the ears or the legs or the nose particularly clearly, so I had this on my colouring board and I had this next to it, and it enabled me to colour that in a way that was pleasing to me. And again, I think with both of these cards, they are suitable for anybody. Often people say that they struggle with making cards that aren't overly feminine. Neither of these cards are particularly feminine, I would say. A cute fox and foliage, you know, there's nothing really traditionally feminine. So these could definitely be used for the men in our lives. I think my dad would absolutely love that card, to be honest. Another thing that you could do as well to step this card up is to make it into a trifold card. So you could actually use the same die to cut an aperture in this card, create the wreath around it, and then have this stuck on the inside, but you'd have another card this way round, so that when you opened the first layer you would see the little scene there. So that is another way to step that up as well and make that into, say if you wanted to make a really special card. I'd love to know what you think. Do you have a favourite card? Can you see yourself doing some batch making? Do you like to batch make cards, or do you tend to make cards specifically for someone's birthday in advance? So if you have found value in this tutorial, and if you found it interesting and helpful, then I'd really appreciate it if you would use your thumb and leave me a like, and also leave me a comment. Those things help YouTube to know that people like my content, and then they show it to more people, which then inevitably leads to more subscribers. And it is my mission this year to reach 1,000 subscribers in the little Veegstez Creates community, and I'm currently I think at 755, so definitely achievable. So if you could help me on my way, that would be awesome. And if you do have crafty friends, then there is a share button, so you can share it, for example, to your Facebook page, so that other people can discover me as well. And if you want to buy this stamp and die set, then the link to the Tonic Studios UK and US stores are in my description box. They are affiliate links, and if you shop through them I get a small commission. It's just a way to support me and my channel, and a way for you to say thank you. I value your inspiration and your content. Any questions or queries that you have, leave them in the comment section below. So that's all from me today, and I will see you again very, very soon. So take care everybody. Bye for now.